Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donnie Wetzel Jr. I'm the Tribal Relations Resiliency Director. And we're honored to be up here meeting with everybody, and it's always good to see you all. I know you're in the thick of some pretty intense situations at times, and I think you all have to understand that we're right behind you in everything that you're fighting for. So I'm honored to be up here. This is kind of the first session of our work from OPI coming up and speaking with the Tribal Caucus. And I think we're starting off on the proper foot, and it's about student mental health and wellness. If we can go on to if you're running that. Who runs that? Oh, okay. Can you take that it off? Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So my understanding, Browning is playing. So just getting back at this, we're in some pretty difficult situations at our school districts with the mental wellness of our youth. We brought Crystal Hickman, who's our student mental wellness coordinator, and she's been doing a lot of work over the last 9-10 years. And even before she came to OPI, she was pretty successful out there working in various places, and she can share some of that. So I'd go to the next. So I was just going to give a brief kind of introduction to our unit, and we're 2 years in now. This started out with the superintendent, Elsie Arnson. We had a meeting after I just met with Hart Butte, and she was asking me about a position within OPI that links up with the tribes. And is there ever been such a thing? And I said, not that I know of. And so with the Every Student Succeeds Act, it's the new No Child Left Behind. There is tribal consultation is mandated within that school, within ESSA. And so we started to develop kind of a position and then a unit to start to begin our tribal consultation with the tribal nations. And I think many of you know, in the past, I worked for the Montana-Wyoming Tribal Leaders Council. I had many amazing mentors and folks that guided me, that our tribal leaders and our tribal nations are sovereign. They're the most powerful around, and we have to start to treat them in that way. So it's been an honor to kind of kickstart an office like this and get out there. The importance of the tribal voice in our school systems, it's immeasurable. And as we look to start to indigenize our schools, as we look to start incorporating language and culture, that's where our tribal voice comes in. And so we established this group really the winter of 2020, and then started to work at getting positions filled. We had the SAMHSA grant, which is a Systems of Care grant, and Crystal can kind of cover that. That was the wellness and support system through wraparound facilitators on each of our reservation communities. And that was absorbed into this unit, and then that grant ended, and we were able to keep Crystal. And then we started to look at filling other positions. In the past, I did a lot of youth leadership stuff, so I needed a youth leadership role. And I have Alicia Doney here. She's our new tribal youth coordinator. She's out of Fort Belknap, Hayes Lodgepole area. and a proud Thunderbird at that. And she's also a student in MSUB, and she's absolutely phenomenal. And so when they'll be presenting too down the road, but we'll be having a youth leadership conference in tandem with a tribal leader education summit in April. So the mission of our group is just to make sure, I don't have it written down, but we do have a mission. But it's to get our tribal voice front and center in everything dealing with our Native youth, be it urban or local. Make sure that they're handled and taken care of, make sure that funding is used properly to support them, and make sure our tribal voice is involved, our culture is represented in the best way possible. So with some of that, we developed it started out as an elder culture wisdom council. And we had various elders that had done this in Canada. And we wanted to start to look at how do we tap into that knowledge. So we've created a group. There's representatives from each tribe that have the knowledge, the transferred knowledge to help guide us in some of our efforts with youth. We truly believe culture is prevention. Kids that are tapped into that live healthier, stronger, longer lives. And so that group is now called KIN, the Knowledge Keepers of Indigenous Nations. And so that's another key component. So we're trying to cover every level that we can, make sure every generation is involved in this, from our elders on down to our youth. And it's very important as we move forward to get upstream in our youth when they're dealing with some of the situations they're dealing with around mental health. That's what the school can offer. We can get upstream and teach them the skills and the life skills and the belief in self that'll have them live a longer life. So I'll pass this on to Crystal Hickman.
Thank you, Donnie. I have a couple of my notes here, so I'm going to just keep that up for me. Am I speaking into the mic? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for having us here today. I really appreciate your time and all the efforts you're putting in on behalf of Indian country, where I'm sure you hear it a lot, but we are thinking of you out there. My name is Crystal Hickman. I was born Crystal Rondo. I'm of Salaga, and I was born in Lodgegrass or in Crow, but I went to high school at Plannicus. My grandmother was Betty Caulfield, and my paternal grandmother was Joy Burdenground. So let's see. I am the mental health and wellness coordinator, or the mental health school support services coordinator. And the work that I do started, as Donnie said, several years ago when I joined the OPI as a wraparound facilitator. Within a year, I moved into the coaching position and helped establish sites around the state of Montana where we had a facilitator in each school. And the wraparound project was really unique because the facilitators we trained and put into the schools were not licensed clinicians. They were trained to be supports and to help our kids identify their own challenges and needs, and to reach into their support network, their families, their friends, their neighbors, their teachers, to build a network around them in order to help them succeed. There are so many lessons that we learned from that work that I'm hoping we can continue to carry on into the work we're doing now. So the Tribal Relations and Resiliency Unit is informed by the tribal voice and the tribal voice of youth in particular. And I think that's one of our biggest strengths. Coming out of COVID, well, actually, even before COVID, we understood that anxiety and depression was a growing problem in the United States, but especially on our reservations. And I know most of you know the numbers around youth suicide and suicide on our reservations. So I won't go into that. I have one number I just want to share with you a little bit later. So we knew that was already a problem, and then we hit COVID, and all of our kids lost their social systems. They lost their school, which is often the most stable thing that they had. And we learned a lot about what our kids need during that time. So now we're leaving the COVID era, and we're seeing that the anxiety and depression that occurred before has just blossomed and grown, and our kids are just not okay. I think the question we need to be asking is, how are the children? We need to keep asking that question because they're not okay. The number I wanted to share with you was from the Montana YRBS. And it just hits me really hard. And that is 190 Native American students attempted to take their own life. 66 of them tried more than once, and 55 of them resulted in an injury that required treatment by a doctor or nurse. So if we're asking if our kids are okay, that's the answer. They're not okay. And these are the ones that got to that point. There are so many more that are on their way or have left school and we're not tracking them anymore. So this is why the work that we're doing is so important. So can we move to the next slide? Okay. So when we talk about the work that we're doing, we are in alignment with the ideals of OPI. We're prioritizing the whole child. This, and I'm speaking to you guys, this is our way. This is how we are. All of our kids are prioritized all of the time. But a couple of thoughts. Aligned, the whole child approach to education is aligned with the tribal approach to education. One of my favorite quotes is from Vine Deloria Jr. And it says that the purpose of education must be to bring wisdom back to our communities so the lives of our children are making sense. Because that's the job of education. And I think we need to keep that in our sights. I grew up with my grandmother. I went to high school and she was my mother. And she never said anything real harsh to me. She never put me down. She never said anything that was hurtful to me. Because she was very strength-based. So now we hear that as an evidence-based program. We hear being strength-based is really important. But that's been our way always. I knew if my grandmother had a certain face that she was disappointed in me, and I wanted to avoid that face 100%. So being strength-based and virtue-centered is really what how tribal education moves forward. And then it crosses life domains. The whole child is not all intellectual development, which is where education comes in. There's social, spiritual, emotional, financial, psychological. So there's many aspects to our kids. And so the tribal approach and the whole child approach both meet those domains. Identity and culture as protective factors for at-risk students. I hate that term, at-risk students. It just really bothers me, but that's how it's approached. The life domains are aspects of culture in all of our youth, not just Native Americans, but in our tribal youth particularly. And then culture impacts the risk protective factors. So when we say that, sorry, let me move this up. When we say that culture is a risk, oh, I went backwards, sorry. When we say that culture is a protective factor, the reason that we say that, I'm sorry, we were just having this conversation in the office and I was trying to remember what we said. But the idea is that our kids are connected. They're fully connected, not just to their educational system, but to their cultural system, to their family, to their extended family, to their community. And so being truly culturally immersed, our kids have those connections that are actually the protective factors that we want our kids to have. Culture impacts, I'm sorry, culture. I think I'm a little tied to my notes. I better calm down. All right. Identity and culture as behavioral interventions. So for the same reason that the risk factors are protective factors, they are beautiful interventions. When our kids are connected to the people that are meaningful in their life, when they're doing the tribal cultural activities that help them affirm their identity, they are less likely to be connected to those things that are harmful. They're less likely to engage in those activities. Identity informs how we interact with the world. And when our kids are connected to their culture, that's how they see themselves and that's how they're going to change the world. So stakeholder integration and tribal model of engagement, the whole child I often used to tell my facilitators that our kids don't stop at their skin. They don't stop right there. They're deeply connected to their families, to their neighbors, to the community, to their friends. They they aren't just a solo individual. They are made up of the people who surround them. And we know how that works. We know how that works, and we've leveraged that for many years. Donnie's kind of a master at that. Um, and we see that because our kids, we support our kids with basketball. We see us coming together, overlooking conflict and problems that we have to do what is best for our kids in supporting basketball. The one thing that my perspective is when we have a feast or a giveaway, we don't do it alone. In fact, we couldn't. And one of my favorite sights in the whole world is when my living room or my grandma's or my mom's living room is filled with things that people are bringing over. And so we know that for the giveaway. So we know that that is how we organize our communities. That's how we connect to our communities, is we give everybody a job. We invite everybody in. And so when we talk about the whole child, we're really talking about their community, their homes, their families, and making sure that we're doing the work of engaging with them. So our ask today, as we go forward, is to consider solidifying a resilience and wellness position within the Tribal Relations and Resiliency Unit. This is important for several reasons, but one of the biggest is as we leave COVID, many people have stopped talking about mental health or trying to stop talking about mental health in our kids. They want to get focused on other things. They want to, and those things are very valid, but we need to maintain that ongoing conversation around wellness and wellness supports for our youth. We need to continue to build capacity in our communities. One of the big wins we had with the Tribal Wraparound Project was that we trained over 700 community members across the state of Montana in things like the wraparound, the principles of care, and restorative practices, mental health first aid, suicide prevention programs of all kinds. So we want to continue to have that person who is in our schools as a resource for our schools to help build that capacity through trainings and in the schools and in the communities. And then to coordinate. Our schools are they're not used to working in mental health. They have had an aspect in counselors for many years, and some of them have even had experience with psychologists for many years. But the reality is that they don't know what all resources are out there. So somebody at the OPI in this position would really be able to help coordinate those connections, helping them learn how to talk with IHS, with mental health centers and providers in the community, helping connect kids to programs like the community rehabilitative aids and other things of that nature. And then finally, to promote the whole child voice, family needs, and community engagements. That, again, from lessons learned from the Tribal Wraparound Project, we know that when our kids identify their own needs and name their own challenges, we can find out what their strengths are and help them meet those. That's where their energy is going to go. And so being able to promote that voice, promote the fact that they know what is going on in their lives and they know their own solutions is absolutely vital to making our kids be the people that they can be. That's all I have. Do you have questions?
Excuse me. I have a couple questions. How does it work? And have you guys looked at how it works with, like, say, children in non-reservation schools and non-reservation schools and big schools as opposed to little schools? Like Browning is a big school, Heartbeat's a small school, but we're on the same reservation. I meant, how does this work? Have you guys thought, seen a difference or looked at a difference between how you how you implement what you just went through?
Oh, you know, I think it's because we're so community-based and youth voice oriented, that it's already responsive. That responsiveness is worked into the mental health and wellness work that we do. It's not a program, it's not a curriculum. It is really building capacity to hear our kids. And that comes through training. I mean, a lot of it comes through training. A lot of the training I do is in restorative practices, which I'm not ashamed to say is really an Indigenous view of how we relate to each other. Did that answer your question?
Yes, yeah, it did. I was just thinking how it really works and how you measure that. I mean, I know it's like going to school and we, a lot of the students really don't even know that what they're doing. They're just kind of rolling along.
Mhm.
And but for you or an OPI, is it really working?
I don't want to say that it's not working because it's really hard to measure that. We don't know how bad it would be if we weren't doing what we were doing. Um, it's kind of like that Got Milk campaign, right? We really just don't know what would have happened if we weren't doing the work we're doing. But I will tell you that the schools that we were in 9 schools on 7 reservations, and 7 of those communities chose to keep their facilitator on after our project ended because it was making an impact. And they paid for them out of their own budgets. So I guess if we're going to talking about measuring, for me, when a school invests in that kind of work, I think that that's really important. And I know it, so the Tribal Wraparound Project, it's a whole process that we use to hear what youth need, have them name their challenges and work with them and the people around them to find the strengths that they need to overcome that. So we had, I want to say 130 youth in the project over the last 4 years. And 70 youth were finished, transitioned successfully out of the program. Okay.
So Senator Weber, this all started from the Schools of Promise initiative. And during that time, there was a lot of suicide happening. And I can say that every school that we were in for those 4-year periods, there was never a suicide. And it was offering services. And unfortunately, 2 years out in one school, there was a few suicides that came from that. But while we were there offering that support, it was good. And so like a lot of it is tied to the cultural aspect that we bring into the school system and in the community raising the child approach. Heart Butte is one of them. They still have some of that stuff going, and they really are focused in some of the care first before the grades. And that's the other part of all this is you can't learn, the brain can't learn when it's in that trauma. And so when we look at scores across our state and everyone looks at our Indian youth and they say, oh, you're 20 points. It's because our Indian youth are going through some tough things. And so we've seen some of the supports we brought into the guidance of our knowledge keepers and cultural leaders, as well as the counselors. I had many discussions with some of her wraparound facilitators that the youth would go see the counselors and then run to them because they knew them. And so there's different kind of aspects to this whole thing, but it's really, she's shy and humble, but her work with the restorative practice creates relationships between the teachers and the students. To do circles every morning, and we watched different schools give the option. Teachers, if you want to do a circle once or twice a week with your students, go for it. It was up to them. The teachers that did that, you have a chance to sit there and visit with youth. You hear where they're coming from. You're vulnerable yourself as an adult. And we have one counselor sometimes in a school, But if the teacher is building a relationship with those students, they'll know if that kid comes in and something's up. They'll go check with them. So there was things put in place around that. Again, you know, I've been in suicide prevention for the entire 2000 era about, you know, and it's the most difficult place and it's the most difficult battle I've ever had. But if we're doing things that if we link a kid to getting his Indian name or something like that, it changes everything, but not every kid's like that. That's the thing with like suicide. I don't want to get so heavy on that, but there's no recipe to fix that thing because everyone is an individual human. They deal with the different things. But if we have more eyes on these youth and more relationships, and that's where those circles come in. We push that over any shiny program coming from the outside. We'll say, hey, you guys should circle up, get to know your kids, share a little bit about yourself. And even from non-natives coming into our communities, that also links them to the kids. They get a better connections, and it's that relationship piece. For a situation like Browning and say Hardin or Billings Senior, there is systems in place, and it leans a little bit more to the clinical side. They have a lot of counselors there. But as you probably know, when there was some situations in Browning and there was those 2 suicides, I knew about that whole thing. We brought in cultural supports as well. And the kids leaned in that way more so than the clinical. So the problem with suicide in our state that is tied to this mental health is the stigma in the state of Montana. You can't talk about suicide. People are, you know, dust yourself off, get up and go, and it causes problems. So like sometimes the stigma, the fear of even sharing who and what you're going through to others is a big problem. But youth and us as humans will go to folks that we probably know more so than, you know, Carl Ross, and we talk about Montana, the East Coast, you can give him your card and say, here's my psychiatrist, go check him out. Oh, thanks, man. If you do that here in the state, you're gonna get punched. I don't want that card, I'm all right. So it's like, that's a reality. And so the more we get these kids, Alicia knows she was in the thick of a lot of that, lost a lot of her classmates in a lot of ways. And so it's like they see things, they're communicating before they go to any adults. So we've developed youth leadership programs, youth peer support programs, but it's got to come from that community. It's got to come from the kids. And so that's a lot of the things that we've done. And she's kind of really nervous. She just drove 4 hours to get here, but she knows a lot about this stuff. So like, we can talk a lot, but if that kind of covers some of the things that we're working on.
One last question. Are the schools really receptive to this? The ones that, would you say there was, you had 9 schools or?
Yeah, 9 schools on 7 reservations. So when that grant ended, the schools chose to absorb that position and find funding to keep it going. And so, yeah, but
Equates into receptiveness, okay.
Sure. I love talking about restorative practices. So I love that I was asked. Restorative practices really is about connection. It's about being humans together. And I think that that's really where my passion lies. And it's also, I think some of the place our kids have lost, that connection to one another and to their adults in their lives. So the work that I've done, I do primarily right now, or it seems the bulk of it, is to go into the schools and do restorative practices trainings with the staff. I was in Fraser last week, and we did a restorative circle, a talking circle with the staff. And it was beautiful to see they have some conflict in the staff, and it was beautiful to see them working together. There were some stumbling blocks along the way, but the beauty of a talking circle is that everybody gets an opportunity to talk without having to be asked or to volunteer. So you get to have a say, and everybody else in the circle gets to hear. And I know that sounds really simple, but there's not a lot of places in our lives where that happens. And so being able to give somebody a prompt, asking them what is a value or a virtue that's very important to you? Like, what is that? And giving that space for people to say, well, I think honesty is really important. I think it's really important that we're honest, and for them to tell stories about what's important about honesty. I mean, we just don't have those opportunities. So when I'm in the schools and I give those opportunities, I get to see people just really blossom. Teachers grow, they become less guarded, they become more connected. And so I I think that I have been going with restorative practices for a while now, because people aren't, they haven't stopped asking. They haven't stopped asking for it. So that is truly where the heart is. And I think in most of the schools that we work with regularly, mental health and wellness is really their priority. If it's not their number one, which it usually is, it's in the top three. Let's see. What was the other? Oh, and sure. So actually, when we first got ourselves trained with the tribal wraparound project, we got ourselves trained in the restorative practices and how to do it. Um, we went out and started training other people, and about, I don't know, a month, and we realized that we weren't doing it ourselves, and that seemed like it was wrong. So Monday mornings in the tribal wraparound project, we came together at 10 o'clock and we spent some time, just an hour, doing a circle, responding to prompts, and sharing with one another. And that, when the tribal wraparound project ended, I had the opportunity and the invitation to do that for OPI. And we have several units. On Monday mornings, we gather at 9:30 to 10:30, and we have a prompt, and everybody gets to respond to that prompt. And that usually we tie it back to what we're working on and how we can collaborate together. But it's, I hear often from people that that's their favorite time of the day, our time of the week, because it's a grounding time. And really it's not magic and it's not psychology, it's just connection.
Thank you, Krista. What always got me, and I'm really impressed with what's going on. I feel an uphill battle of scratching and trying to forge this path of youth leadership and Tribal Voice Center when dealing with the youth, like you talked about as part of your vision and mission. But when I was a councilman for the Blackfeet tribe, I could never ever understand that. The only component that sat out there for us as leaders of our nation was to establish higher education standards, and that was our only involvement. Because you look at the structure of how it's set up, it's all for the middle of the road people instead of at the growth. And the growth of our youth is established almost 100% funding from standard and initiatives from the state of Montana. And if you really look at that, that's the total truth. It isn't within from tribal councils or any other programs that sit out there in tribal communities. And I really applaud any of the nations that are in any of the reservations that are trying to do these immersion schools, because then it's community based, even though sometimes our party, maybe the Democratic Party, doesn't look at privatization of schools as a good thing. But you could probably do a study, and I'm not saying that it's the truth or not, but how many of these immersion schools have produced suicide situations because of that community-based initiatives from them immersion schools that's grounded in culture, knowledge, and spirituality. And so that initiative of also tribal consultation seems to be a big push forward that definitely needs to happen with some direction from the state, because tribal consultation does have to be defined by that tribe of what true consultation is. And sometimes we think, maybe as when I say we, I'm talking about legislation and also administrative programs like this, think you guys need to develop what tribal consultation is, but it's totally the opposite. And sometimes it's a really slow process because of since 1934 on up of Indian Reorganizational Act, we've been told about what we should be doing. And so that elders council that you've kin group that you've developed, the acronym, is really important. But sometimes even that group themselves have the blinders and blocks on of seeing past local involvement of councils at that level, because in reality, they really do with the funds that they receive from impact aids to develop their own direction from councils at the local level and not having to ask permission to take control of that growth. So I think this is a right step, 100%, but I feel for you, Crystal, on your uphill battle, and know that inside you got this freaking lion coming out that wants to do it, of making this uphill turn that is needed. And to me, I put it back on councils in tribal leadership to open arm these initiatives for our children to know they are in control of it. And hopefully OPI in these programs are waiting in support when these are ready to happen.
I was gonna say something, but I think you covered it all. But we are, oh, I know. Yeah, I think the consultation process is new, and a lot of our tribal nations don't understand that they do have a say in a lot of this. So I think I'll be presenting soon enough here with you guys on some of that. But imagine if our councils and our tribal nations worked in conjunction with our school districts to share or write grants of support. When I worked for the tribes, we had so many prevention programs coming through, and hardly any of them ever ran through the school system. It was splash in the pan. We're going to have an event here. We're going to create something here. And then when the council changed over, they lost momentum. What I have found in an education system, you have 5 days to meet those kids. You have 5 days that you can go in there and do a circle or do something where they're venting out their issues. And there is a few schools and tribes working together. You're hitting on something very important within our office. We want to start to look at developing tribal ed director programs if they don't have it, and they're not just focused on higher ed. They're P20, like a place like Salish Kootenai or Fort Peck. You guys have you guys get into the schools. I don't know if the other tribes really do that from what I know. I know they're trying, but the Blackfeet should develop a tribal ed department or tribal ed program. I mean, those type of things where you can write grants. For instance, Salish Kootenai wrote a grant for these cultural support systems and staff. They wrote the grant as the tribe and they sent it out to all the districts in conjunction with the districts. So like, there's a lot of power, there's a lot of funding, there's a lot of resources if we come together for the youth.
One more follow-up that I had, Donnie, and I think we're clearing the mud, and we're seeing it too. But you guys talked about this. Consider a position of wellness and resilience for an FTE position. First, where would that be housed? Second, is there any current legislation that we need to pass for this? Third, I think we can find the money on our side. And then fourth, is there some sort of, like I said, developing this bill where we could actually build the account where charities and non-governmental agencies would want to deposit funds to fund this position through the state. That could happen, because that's, I'm done talking about it. It sounds beautiful and whatnot, but if we had somebody to go downstairs and bring it to one of our drafters and say, hey, let's start freaking drafting this up. And we got a short window here where we have a surplus of so much money through the state that this is a real important effort that can change the trajectory of a whole 6% of our population to become future leaders and take control of their own destinies on reservations.
So this would be housed in the Tribal Relations Resiliency Unit. Currently, it's Crystal's position. She can kind of talk, well, we can maybe bring that up a little bit. It's limited, just as our youth coordinator position. It's with our Besser funds till 2024. I'm not sure on our mental health support, but yeah, it would be housed there, and we'd have to figure that out. I know there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to getting an FTE, and I think that let's go, I guess is what I'd like to say. And we could look at doing something like that.
I really like what you're doing, but my question was, because I'm a product of what went before, and now we're changing the whole model, and I think that's exciting because, I got this bill sitting in front of me about boarding schools and national recognition of what happened in boarding schools. That's my bill right here. So that trauma, historical trauma, has come all the way to my generation, to our generation, and that we need to turn the page. And that's what Crystal was saying. And after you got done, I was thinking, hey, yeah, my question was right directly from where I'm coming from, when the school says, this is how you're going to do it. And that's how it was going to be done. I like this. I really do. And whatever we can do, we can, if we need a bill, Tyson will carry it. Yeah. So I really thank you. And now I'm thinking differently here.
Crystal is, thank you for that, Senator. That's really good. We talk about processing through that pain, and you are dealing with a generation of youth that we're also looking at. They're very resilient, because we'll talk about, that's why I'll talk. It's funny, I didn't even realize you put basketball in your slide, but like we'll talk about the energy, the positive energy that basketball brings our communities. It's one of the few things that everybody comes together. And there could be enemies, but they're high-fiving at state tournaments. And that those kids do that. They're sitting in the center and bringing our communities together in such a way that we're drawn to them. Sometimes they take a lot of pressure too, but I like to go in that way. If we can do it like that, then it's possible to do it in academics, in art, and whatever leadership, whatever that we can do, we keep the focus on those youth. I wanted Crystal because we talk about the boarding schools before. And a long time ago, when I came into this position, I was called on by Denise Juneau because I was doing youth leadership and suicide prevention. And if you think about the boarding school model, the education model, it put a culture onto our people and tried to cut the roots from under us and put a way of life onto us. Well, we're at a place now where can we reconnect those roots? We're talking in a place, and that's where these knowledge keepers come from. They're amazed that we're talking in these ways because they went through a whole different thing. We set up an elder welcoming room in Lame Deer once, and these two elder women came in and cried sitting in there because they never thought they would have that in a school. And so can we start to reconnect? Can we start to bring in our ways, you know. And I like how some of those knowledge keepers talk, coexist, in coexistence, in braiding, they'll say, well, I don't like decolonization because I like my chainsaw. I like how far are we gonna go, you know? So like, can we coexist and create this? And when you talk about our reservation youth, what we're doing, my daughter right over here at Helena High, suicide down in Capitol, in the parking lot, on an announcer. There's a counselor down here at this time. You guys can go down there. What do we do in our communities? We shut it down. And my daughter and these kids, you know, they talk about that. They hurt on that. So there's a lot of things that we can share out. Like I'm saying, braiding these two things. We're all human. And like bringing in relational circles or restorative circles for youth in need. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But use that system, because you can build habits in 5 days with kids, you know, good habits, good teaching. It's that learned behavior at home that sometimes becomes frustrating, but we're thinking of ways. I'll just say the way. Some of our schools were talking about creating a campus setting. And, you know, Heart Butte's doing some of that, getting a place for students to go, a cultural center in the middle. If there ain't every student we go to in our communities, in Fort Peck, everywhere, we'd like a safe house, safe place to go when things aren't good at home. So those type of things we tried to push at the tribal level, but can we unite is kind of the direction I think that we can go. Do you want to say?
I think the power that what Donnie talks about all the time is that this is a system that took from us. And now we can use the system to restore who we are and integrate, not assimilate, to integrate ourselves into this world that we live in. And so I think it's particularly powerful to start with relationships and building relationships in the school.
Well, I don't know about Frank, but I think I'm one of the last of the school, my generation. So we're getting over that one. Did you go to boarding school? Oh, or a mission school? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm a dinosaur then.